Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest Minty video, or MintySquidz video, that I'm going to be doing here. Last week, a pretty big announcement happened from James Gunn and Warner Brothers and Peter Safran and DC Comics. We finally got an initial slate of film and TV for this new version of the DC universe that we are going to be seeing over the next couple of years. Now, I want to talk about this. I asked in the community post if you all wanted to hear me talk about this, and votes were yes, so I'm talking about this in a video. I was probably going to talk about this in a video of some sort anyway, because it's something that I really have been longing for, in a way, for quite some time. Ever since hearing that James Gunn was the now new head of DC, basically him and Peter Safran as the new heads of the DC creative branch for the films and TV and all that good stuff. I was really excited. I was very, very excited because it showed to me that they finally have a plan of some sort in place for these movies. And not saying they need to have a full Marvel slate or anything, but just that they had somebody in charge that actually understands these characters and these comics and these stories to actually make them good. So yeah, I want to talk about this for a while. And DC is one of those unfortunate things where, because of Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse people, which nothing against Zack Snyder or Deborah Snyder or all them, the creative aspects of those movies are definitely creative. I'm not gonna deny them, but just like the overwhelming negativity that came from the fan base for so long when it comes to DC is not good. It's not good for anybody involved. It's not good for anybody involved at all. And and as you all know from the channel, I try to be incredibly positive about a lot of things, and just that whole period of DC and Warner Brothers honestly damaged so much. Just it has damaged so much that that the whole universe of DC needs to be rebooted at some point. Need to reboot it completely. And while it sucks not having Henry Cavill Superman, I understand why. It's because he's so tied to the Snyderverse at this point. And I hope he comes back, though. Hope he comes back as some other character. I think that'd be great. And we actually got a character in here that I saw a recommendation for that would be phenomenal for one of these properties. But anyway, let's talk about the DC slate. When this was announced, it got me incredibly excited. It got me very, very excited because all the things that they announced on here, both film and TV, are so quintessentially DC, I feel like, in a way, and so quintessentially weird that there's so much you can build from in here. And I'm not going to talk too much about each of them individually, but more just about the whole idea of what this is introducing. So this is what was announced was James Gunn came out in a video and just basically announced this slate and said this is chapter 1 of this new DC universe, and it's going to be called Gods and Monsters, which is a good DC title for a chapter, calling something Gods and Monsters. It harkens back to some actual stories from DC Comics, harkens back to the animated movie Gods and Monsters, which is its own thing. So it's interesting. Also, just based on what we see being announced here, it makes perfect sense as well. Makes perfect sense. So there were 10 things announced, and there were some comic books to go along with some of these things as well to read, which at this point, all those comics are sold out everywhere, and they will be reprinted. They will be republished, so you can buy them. And I'm definitely going to look at some of these. Also, if you can't find them, go to your local library. They probably have them too. Go to your local library, download the Hoopla app as well. Look on there. Just look on your library. Support your local libraries. But yeah, so let's just talk about these things. I'm going to go TV first, and then movies, and then just an overall kind of little thing for some of the things I'm hoping for in this. So TV projects, we're going to start right off the bat with, oh my god, this thing's phenomenal. This is just great. I've been asking for something like this first series for years now, because it's such a comic booky premise that I don't care who did it. If it was Marvel or DC, I didn't care who did it. I just wanted to see it. And it's the Creature Commandos, which is a super team from like the 60s or 70s, basically, of a Black Ops team of literal monsters. Like actual literal monsters. And it's going to be animated, but it's going to be animated that is going to transition to live action, which is how pretty much everything in DC is going to be now. Everything in DC is going to fully interconnect in one way or another, be it movies to TV, TV to video games to like whatever else. It's all going to connect. And it's going to be great. So they're going to try to cast the people to play everything now, which is a very big task to do. But anyway, Creature Commandos is awesome. It's just also, I never heard of this team before, but I knew it existed. That's the weird thing. I never had heard of this, but I knew somewhere out there it had existed. So I'm going to find this and read some of it, because it's right in my alley, right in my alley. But it's basically the Suicide Squad, which I love Suicide Squad at this point too. It's the Suicide Squad with with monsters, with just like Frankenstein's monster and like a fish lady and the Bride of Frankenstein and Weasel at this point, and for like Rick Flag Sr. or Sergeant Rock, either one doesn't matter. And it's great. I'm here for it completely. Next one is Waller, where we're getting the return of Viola Davis. So that means that some actors are going to be returning. They did say this. James Gunn did say this. Some actors will be returning as characters from the previous DC universe. Some of them will not be. Some of them will be playing new characters. Some of them just won't be in it at all. I'm okay with this. I am 100% okay with this. If that means we get to keep Viola Davis, if we get to keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, if we get to keep Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, I'm here for it. I'm here for it completely. I am 100% here for it. But we got Waller, which is going to be written by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, who did the Watchmen HBO series, which was phenomenal, and Jeremy Carver, who did Supernatural, which most of that was pretty good. I'm here for it, especially if it's going to be like a follow-up to Peacemaker, and Peacemaker's going to somehow be involved in this too. I'm 100% here for this. I love all of that. All of it. Just all of it. Especially if it's like written like Watchmen is. Oh my god, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Another one that was announced that I'm all in for, and I've been waiting for something like this for a while, is Booster Gold. Booster Gold. I don't know how they're going to do it. But I'm here for it. And it can be a lot of good things. I don't know who they'd cast as Booster Gold. Could be Chris Pratt, because I know that all the Guardians cast wants to come over and work with James again. I don't know if I want to see Chris Pratt as Booster Gold. I would love to have Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk play Booster Gold and Ted Kord. I would love to see that happen. That's been the go-to casting for years now. Would love to have that happen, but I don't know if I don't know if they can do it. I would love to have that happen though. But Booster Gold is such an interesting concept for a character that I'm here for it completely. Another one is Lanterns. They announced finally we're getting a Green Lantern series. Finally, we're getting Green Lanterns. We're getting Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan on a space cop mission, undercovering some kind of dark mystery. I'm predicting Parallax, possibly. I'm thinking it might be Parallax of some sort is the big dark mystery. It could be Necron and the Black Lanterns. It could be Blackest Night. Already, I don't know. I don't think they should do Blackest Night yet. They definitely do not. But it's a series. It's going to be a TV series, and I'm just throwing it out there as well. Casting wise, Bradley Cooper, can you please be Hal Jordan? Can Bradley Cooper please be Hal Jordan? And can like John David Washington be Jon Stewart? I think that'd be perfect casting. They should just do that. But whoever they need to cast as those characters, cast them as characters. But I'm here for Lanterns. I've been wanting a Green Lantern anything forever, because the Ryan Reynolds one is not it. That ain't it, Chief. That ain't it. So give me Green Lanterns of some sort. I love the Green Lanterns, and they're so underutilized. They're so underutilized in everything, because the Ryan Reynolds movie kind of ruined the entirety of Green Lanterns, but they're so good. And the final one for TV that was at least announced was Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost, which is going to be set in Themyscira, kind of a Game of Thrones-y political intrigue type of thing about the Amazonians. Cool. I'm here for it. Like a dark fantasy, his like political intrigue thing about Themyscira, before Wonder Woman's born, based on the Wonder Woman Historia comic. Great. Honestly, very much here for that. And I'm interested to see what they do with it. But I'm here for it. I'm completely here for it, for sure. And then the movies. And then the films is where it gets really, whew. Okay, let's just start from the bottom up. Let's start from the bottom, work our way up. We're getting Swamp Thing. We're getting a Swamp Thing movie. And supposedly it might be directed by James Mangold. Oh my god, like written and directed by James Mangold, who did Logan. If we get a Logan-style movie for Swamp Thing, then what? Then just what? I would have also been completely here for like an actual horror director doing Swamp Thing and leaning more into the horror aspect of it. But if we're leaning more into the human element of Swamp Thing, Swamp Thing is one of those characters that like you can go in so many different directions and they can still be perfect. I love the series of Swamp Thing. I love the TV series that happened on the DC Universe app that happened. That was very short-lived. Very, very short-lived app, unfortunately. But I love that Swamp Thing series so much. It was pretty perfect. Pretty perfect. Had a huge budget, but pretty perfect as a Swamp Thing series. And I loved it. So seeing an actual Swamp Thing movie directed and written probably by James Mangold is going to be great. And it's going to be based on, James Gunn actually said this later, it is going to be based off of the Alan Moore, more likely based off the Alan Moore Swamp Thing run, which is pretty much the quintessential Swamp Thing run you can do. So perfect. Another film that was announced that is going to be very, very interesting to see how they pull it off is they announced The Authority. The Authority, the Wildstorm characters of The Authority, of Midnighter, Apollo. I don't know any other Authority characters at all, but those two at least, like the Warren Ellis, Mark Millar type of Authority, which for the most part is the Snyderverse, but with different characters. It's kind of like how Watchmen are just the Charleston characters, but they couldn't use them at the time. The Authority is basically just the Snyderverse characters. That's what they basically are. I am beyond intrigued to see what they do with this movie and how they do this movie. And I already saw this fan casting. It was from Coy Jandrew who said it. I already saw this fan casting. It's like, can we get Henry Cavill to play Apollo? Can we get him to play Apollo? A white-haired Superman type figure? Like, can we get him to play Apollo? That'd be pretty great. But yeah, I don't know much about The Authority at all. So I'm definitely gonna look into all the comics that were like recommended by James Gunn that they're basing all these off of. I'm gonna look into all of them and definitely read a bunch of them because I really need to. But yeah, The Authority is so out there as a thing. Like, what are they doing with that? I don't know what they're doing with that. But it shows they're going to be taking some characters from the imprints and using them. So if we get like a Doom Patrol movie or another Doom Patrol series from the Young Animals imprint, perfect. If we get Hellblazer and we get like actual Constantine Hellblazer from Vertigo, perfect. If we get Lucifer from Vertigo, perfect. If we get just more Sandman, perfect. Doesn't matter. All that stuff, but they can use the imprints, which is really, really cool. Supergirl Woman Tomorrow. Supergirl Woman Tomorrow, written by Tom King, based on the Tom King run that happened. I didn't get around to reading this. I unfortunately did not get around to reading this. And I say that unfortunately because Supergirl is one of my favorite characters of all time. She is legitimately one of my top 3 characters of all time. It's Aquaman, Harley Quinn, and Supergirl are literally my 3 favorite characters of all time. And I didn't ever get around to reading Woman Tomorrow. And I'm really ashamed by that. I wasn't reading a lot of comics at the time because I was like, I had no room for them. I had no time to get into comics fully. But I really need to go back and read Woman Tomorrow. And I've heard this is such a phenomenal Supergirl story. Just in general, just a phenomenal Supergirl story. And I'm glad that they're doing Woman Tomorrow to show that Supergirl is not just Girl Superman. Because she's not. Supergirl is a very different character in every sense of the word. She is a completely different character. And honestly, I think the best way to describe Supergirl is, as I thought this on the way home from work the other day, Supergirl is a science fiction, pulp science fiction character that has emotional stories and that has like arcs and is a character. Whereas Superman is this like hopeful embodiment of what we should strive for. Supergirl is a science fiction character. That's why her greatest stories are with her against Cyborg Superman. Full science fiction character. Her in space doing stuff with like Lobo, which we're probably going to see Jason Momoa not be Aquaman. Sad about that. We're going to see him be Lobo. I'm happy with that. That's not official by any means necessary at all, but looking at context clues, this man's going to be Lobo, and I'm so hyped for him, and I'm so hyped to see that. But we get Supergirl, we get her as a Red Lantern, and that's one of my favorite stories of all time, is seeing her as a Red Lantern, and like the rage that she has inside for the fact that she had to see her planet blow up, and that she had to live with this like bottle society of Krypton, watching her people die around her. It's so intriguing. And from this movie, I would not be surprised if we see like an Adam Strange movie. If we see Adam Strange, who is another like pulp science fiction character. It can do a lot of things. Can do a lot of things. I'm just happy Supergirl's getting her own movie, and it's this. I'm so happy it's this. And it could lead to Red Lantern. It could lead to Lobo. It could lead to Cyborg Superman. It could lead to so many other things. And that's what the whole DC slate's about, which we're going to get into with other stuff. And the final two, the big two, the dynamic duo, the world's finest. We have Brave and the Bold. We have Batman. We're getting a new Batman. Not saying that Robert Pattinson's Batman is not happening anymore, but it is. But we're getting Brave and the Bold. We're getting Batman, an older Batman with a Robin. We're finally getting Robin, guys. We're finally getting Robin back in a movie. It's unfortunately Damian, which I hate Damian, but you're supposed to hate Damian. And it's based on the Grant Morrison Batman era, where we get Damian, where he is he's a little shit in that. Like, you're supposed to hate him. That's kind of the point. But what Damian means is we're going to have the rest of the Bat family in there too. We're going to have Barbara. We're going to have Nightwing in there. We're going to probably have Jason have already died at this point and become Red Hood. We're going to have Tim Drake probably. We're going to see Batman with the Bat family finally. Oh my god, we're going to see him with the Bat family finally. And it's to fully separate from the Pattinson, which Gunn actually put out a tweet about this too, commenting to somebody. It's like, you shouldn't be making something as an opposite of something else. You should just be like, or like living in the shadow of something else. You should just be making something to make it good. But I think a good way to do Brave and the Bold, I think you need to give Batman his blue cape. I think you need to make him the dark gray and the blue. It makes it new. It makes it new because we haven't seen that at all with Batman. I think you need to give him the blue. Make it a dark blue. You make it a dark blue look black, but give him the blue. You give him the blue suit. It signifies that this is a different Batman, and this is a more parental Batman. This is a more familial Batman. This is a Batman that actually has some stakes because he has family to fight for. Give him the blue. Just give him the blue. And I want to see the rest of the Bat family in this movie. I don't want to have it overloaded with Bat family, but I want to see the Bat family in this movie. I want to know that they're there, that they exist, that they are here, and that we can see them later. But we're getting a Robin, guys. We're getting Robin. If this means we finally get to see Tim Drake at some point, we get to see like a Teen Titans movie with Tim Drake and the Teen Titans, my god, I'm going to be happy. And then the final one, the actual final one, which is why I'm wearing this, Superman Legacy. We're getting Superman Legacy, a younger Superman, and it's going to be based completely off of, well, not completely off of, but it is going to be based off of, as I'm pretty sure we're all expecting it to be, it's based off of Also Superman, which is arguably the greatest Superman story ever told. And it is completely different than what we've seen Superman be for the past decade. It is a hopeful Superman that is the ideal that everyone should be striving for. Not this like overbearing Old Testament Christ figure, but an ideal of just good. An ideal of good. An ideal that you should strive for, to just be a good person, to help whoever you can help, to sacrifice yourself to help others, to just simply be good. We're getting Superman. James Gunn's the one writing this, and I think he's the one directing it too. We're getting actual Superman again. It's been over a decade since we've seen actual Superman. We've only seen a dark, brooding, vindictive, vengeful, angry Superman for so long that people have forgotten what Superman means. Superman's not this Old Testament angry god. Superman's not that. And the people that say he is, they don't understand the character. They simply don't understand the character. And I understand people that say, oh, Superman reflects society. No, Superman does not reflect society. Superman does not reflect the world we live in. Superman is supposed to be the ideal we strive for against the society that we live in. He was created in the Great Depression by two skinny Jewish kids who were bullied and who were tormented for being who they are. So they created Superman to be this ideal to look towards, to become, to say, yes, we can get past this and we can become him. He is not an angry god. He is hope. He is literally hope. That's why he wears a bright suit. That's why he has the trunks on the outside of his outfit. He's supposed to just be good. Just hope and good for humanity. And the fact that we're getting Superman based on Also Superman is such an important thing. And I'm calling this now. I am calling this right now. If that movie does not start out with the iconic scene of Superman saving that girl from committing suicide by just simply talking to her and telling her how great life is and that whatever she's going through, she can get past. And that be the first thing we see of this new Superman, then I'm calling that out. That's how the movie needs to open. It needs to open with that scene, because that scene fully exemplifies this is a different Superman. This is Superman. And if we don't get Clark, we need to get Clark. We need to actually get the human element of Superman. We need to get Lois and Clark. We need to get their relationship. We need to get them. We need to get Jimmy Olsen. We need to get the entire cast of Superman characters, of the super family. We're already going to get Supergirl, which is great. We're probably going to get Krypto in there, because Krypto's great. We love Krypto. But we're gonna see Superman. And it makes me so happy to see that. And what these DC films and TV and everything, what they showcase to me is not a through line for a big universe with a big crossover event with getting the Justice League together to fight Darkseid or to fight Brainiac. No, what it showcases to me is that each of these properties are building blocks. They are simply bricks to lay down to then build from. So, like, we have Superman. You put him down, you now have Metropolis. You have the Super Family. You have all that. You get Batman. Batman's put down. You now have the Bat Family. You can then build from Gotham. Build the Bat Family. Swamp Thing introduces the mystic element of DC. So you can then get Constantine. You can get Justice League Dark. You can get Zatanna, Etrigan the Demon. You get Creature Commandos. Cool. Monsters exist. Awesome. You get Paradise Lost. You get the Gods back. You get the Lanterns. You get Space. You get Booster Gold. You get the Future. You get Waller. You get the down gritty element. All of these properties, all of these things are showcasing DC is very diverse. DC is very wide open. And DC can have a lot of stories to tell. And that you can build stories from all these properties. And this isn't everything. This is not everything. This is just what we have announced so far. There's going to be more. I'm already predicting there's going to be more things in secret that they're doing already that will be coming out roughly the same time all these other things are. And there's going to be more things announced as we go on. Like, I would not be surprised if Comic-Con we don't get more announcements or we get castings for things. But that's what DC is. DC now, to me, is hopeful. It's very hopeful because it shows completely that someone is in charge, that has a plan, that knows what they're doing, and that is going to do the right thing with these characters. I'm a massive DC fan. I have always been a massive DC fan. DC comics are one of the things that I grew up loving. I didn't get to reading comics until ultimately, I say recently in my life. I read comics from like sophomore year of high school, and I've read onward. But I was always into comic book properties and comic book everything. Like, I grew up watching and loving Justice League the Animated Series, Teen Titans, Batman the Animated Series, all of them. And I only recently became a Marvel fan because of the cultural saturation of it. I'm a DC fan at heart. I love DC characters. I love DC comics. I love these stories of these godlike characters being human, of having these mythological stories, of having these stories that are encompassing of morals and ideals and things to strive for. I love that. I love DC Comics so much. And to see this slate of entertainment, and I know it's just entertainment, but entertainment is much bigger than that. Entertainment is something to get us out of the world that we live in. And to see that someone is actually taking the time to understand these characters that I know and love so much and actually showing them, I'm excited. I can't be anything else but excited. I'm excited for the future of DC Comics. I'm excited for the future of DC. And I'm excited to see how exactly they pull this off. How do they pull this off? Oh, and the other big thing, they're still doing other things too. They're just going to be called Elseworlds. I love that. I love Elseworlds. I love the imprint of Elseworlds because it's just stories that you can allow storytellers to tell without any worry about it connecting to anything else. That's how we got Red Sun Superman. That's how we got Gotham by Gaslight. That's how we got The Nail. That's how we got the Vampire Batman. That's how we got so many. That's how we get DC Black Label. That's how we got the DC Black Label in general. So we can still have Todd Phillips' Joker. We can still have Matt Reeves' Batman. We can still have Teen Titans Go. We can still have all of these other... We still have Superman and Lois, which is a phenomenal series that's going to keep going on. We can still have all these things, and they're still fine. We can still have games that come out that are not connected. We still have shows that come out that are not connected. We still have animated shows like Batwheels. Yay, we can get a kid show for toddlers about Batwheels. We can do that. All that stuff is fine. Because it's Elseworlds. It still counts. It's still its own thing, and it doesn't have to connect to anything. We can get the sequel to the Keanu Reeves Constantine film at some point, and to be an Elseworlds is fine. And that's what this does. This DC now is hopeful. It's hopeful because it's showing that they know what they're doing. That they at least have a plan for what they're doing. And I'm getting a bit emotional for this because, again, I am a DC fan at heart. I'm a DC fan at heart, and having had a decade more of DC seemingly not knowing what to do and what they were doing at all, and almost seeming like there are people in charge that didn't care or like these characters at all, is sad. It's just sad, and I'm glad that we're getting this now. And this, not to discount the movies that came out. I love some of those movies that came out. I really do. Wonder Woman is great. I liked Wonder Woman 84. I think it was pretty good. It's not the best, but I think it's good. Aquaman. I watched the movie 3 times in theaters, and I teared up every time I watched it because it meant so much to me. Birds of Prey is one of my favorite movies of all time. And honestly, Man of Steel, I still think is a great movie. It is not a good Superman movie, but it is a great movie. I think it is. And I'm looking forward to all of this stuff now. I'm looking forward to DC, and I'm looking forward to it where I wasn't before. And that's more than I can say for anything else. That's more than I can say for any of this. So let me know down in the comments what you think about this new DC slate, and what you are hopeful for about DC, about these movies and these TVs, and what do you want to see? Just what is your pie in the sky thing to see from DC? Either a casting, a storyline, a character you want to see, whatever you want to see. And please be respectful. Please be respectful. If you're not, I'm deleting your comment. I'm deleting your comment from the channel if you are not respectful. Yes, just saying that right now. And if you like the videos, we'll leave a like. And if you like the channel and like to see more, subscribe as well. Until then, over here is going to be a playlist for something else. I don't even know. It's going to be a playlist for something else. Watch it. And then over here is going to be a video YouTube recommends. Watch that too. And until next time, I will see you all, and stay hopeful, everyone. Until then, peace, everyone. Peace.